Yo, what is up, you guys? Jamie Cox here, and today I'm going to be bringing you my second thoughts and analysis video, and plus a weekly update video. So basically, I missed last week's video. I want to start this off first. I missed last week's video, and that's because I had some really bad news come my way, and I just didn't feel like finishing the video after that. I don't want to express the news on camera or anything, but yeah, I just didn't feel like finishing the video after all that, so that's why I missed last week's video. But this week, I'm going to be getting around to do it. So since I'm doing a thoughts analysis video, I just figured I'd throw the weekly updates in here pretty briefly and then talk about the race afterward. But yeah. Also, I still need a series name for this new series I'm doing. I feel like it'd get you guys a little more involved, and I feel like it'd be cool to see what you guys come up with also, let alone what I come up with, but I'm not sure, so I want to see what you guys come up with. Leave some comments down below. Leave me a name that I should pick. So yeah. Also, make sure you use my Instagram. And then go use my DMs, or even use the YouTube comments for newer fans, casual fans, returning older fans. Ask some questions. Leave some questions down in the comments below. I'll answer them in the next video. But yeah, there's no questions for this video. I didn't really think about to ask. So this week in news, it was kind of a slow news week, but we had some pretty big bombs dropped on us though. All right, so for the first news story, we have Auto Club, the 2.5 mile racetrack, becoming a half-mile short track in the 2022 season. That's freaking crazy. Like, what? The Auto Club's one of my favorite tracks. Like, honestly, it is. But honestly, like, I would love to see more short tracks in NASCAR. Just as so as the next gen car can actually run pretty good at any of the tracks, honestly. But especially short tracks. So hopefully it'll be a good race there and we'll get to keep the track. So yeah, this is the layout right here of what's gonna happen. So the huge racetrack is gonna be combined down into a little half-mile racetrack, and they're basically just gonna use the front stretch. And the pit lane is where the back stretch is, and they're still using the same front straightaway. They're saying it's gonna be like Martinsville in the straights, but like they have that little curve for the classic Auto Club, you know, on the front straightaway. But then in the turns, it's gonna be like Bristol. So like, hopefully it's not that progressive banking, because I don't like that much. But yeah, hopefully they can build up around this place to keep a lot of like interest coming into it, and a bunch of businesses, keeping the land open and keeping it functioning. But yeah, it's a really cool idea. I'm glad they decided to do this with some place. But yeah, so not everything's set in stone yet, of course. So here's what NASCAR had to say. We're still very early in the process, and we're excited about this project. But they wanted to create a better facility, and they wanted to create better racing. So basically, like, what they want to do is, because attendance levels are low for Auto Club, so what they want to do is they want to make it so where you can see everything, you know, which would probably help the attendance, because you get to see the track. Like if you can see everybody on the track at the same time, instead of having to look 2 miles this way across to the back stretch, looking through garage areas, and like it would make it a much more enjoyable experience, because you get to see everybody at the same time. So, and we get a short track, so I don't blame them for this change, and nobody should, but I've seen a lot of the backlash. So yeah, this is probably the best picture of what we'll see what the new track would look like. So like, yeah, that's that looks pretty good. Like, and there's a football field in there for like the size of why like the garages and stuff are outside the track. So, and I'm also not really going too in depth talking about it, because I want to move on to what the actual video is for. Next week I'll have a set in stone news video, and then I'll have my thoughts analysis video if I do end up watching the race. But yeah. Alright, another big bombshell dropped this week, that Jimmy Johnson is going to be partnering with Chip Ganassi Racing and IndyCar for the 2021 and 2022 schedule. We all knew it was kind of coming just because of how he was talking. He tested the IndyCar earlier this year with Chip Ganassi anyway, and Scott Dixon was there. This was, yeah, I mean, it's not shocking to say, but like, it was a big bombshell on us, and we all knew that he at some point he was gonna go do some other racing, because he said in an interview earlier at the COTA testing for IndyCar, Circuit of the Americas, by the way, he said he wanted to get into a bunch of other auto racing or motorsports. So yeah, this is his start in that. So He said that when he tested with Chip Ganassi earlier, it only lit the fire more that he wanted to do IndyCar racing. So yeah, it's set in stone that he's gonna be racing. He's only gonna be doing the street and road course races, and I've been seeing that he's gonna be doing the 500. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I've been seeing that. So also for Bristol next weekend, they have completely sold out. Well, this was as of the day that I figured out this news. They had completely sold out their capacity for the Bristol playoff race. So that's pretty amazing. And I mean, it's Bristol, but like, and Bristol's a pretty historic track. But like, that's amazing. Like, they sold every ticket during a pandemic while social distancing and everything. So yeah, and the Xfinity Series numbers, there was still like, at the time there was like 300 tickets available. So that's really good. That's really good. So yeah. And the final bombshell that I have for news that at least I picked up on my radar, Bubba Wallace announced he is going to be leaving Richard Petty Motorsports. This is actually a good thing and a bad thing. So the bad thing is Richard Petty and his team brought him in after Roush Fenway shut down because they couldn't get sponsorship for him. I don't know. I know that he's always shown them loyalty, and I know he will continue to after he leaves. I know he knows their family, like, and they know he's family. But the bad thing about it is people are understanding why he's leaving. He's not leaving because he doesn't like RPM. He's leaving to further his career and being a more competitive car, which RPM is not giving him. He's got so much sponsor money now from DoorDash, Cash App, Columbia. It's time that he can move on with all this money. Like, he just needs to capitalize on all these opportunities he's getting. I don't blame him for leaving. And it's a good thing he's leaving because he'll get to be in a more competitive car most likely. I don't blame him one bit for leaving. Honestly, I really don't. So now on to the topic of this actual video, the thoughts and analysis on Richmond. It was an alright race. It was a strategy race all the way through. There was no yellows. Race was fairly clean. So this is your stage 1 top 10. Denny Hamlin taking home first, Austin Dillon second, Joey Logano third, Brad Keselowski fourth, and Kevin Harvick fifth to round out your top 5. You'll be seeing the top 10. The top 5 was those 5. But yeah, as I said, the race was clean, and there's a lot of passing. Like, the package they ran was pretty good. The tire could be a little better. It's not the best it could be. It was a lot of passing, and it was fairly entertaining to watch the battles all night. Denny Hamlin took home the stage win in this race. He already has a big points cushion anyway, so it's whatever if he wins the stage. Same with Kevin Harvick. They're whatever. Austin Dillon, amazing car all night. I'll talk about him a little bit later, but all night, an absolutely amazing car. Last week, I didn't get to watch the race, but I saw he was up. He finished second in the race last week. That's crazy. He stepped it up. Confidence is starting to kick in for him. Alex Bowman sixth. Alex Bowman, he ran all right all night. He didn't run too bad. He really bounced he kind of bounced around a little bit. I think at one point I looked up and I saw that he was back towards like 15th or so. But yeah, he didn't run too bad all night. Martin Truex Jr. finishing 7th in stage 1. He ran pretty good all night. I think he struggled a little bit early, just trying to find that setup. But after a while, they got it going. They ended up running pretty good. Moving on to stage 2. Top 5 are Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, and Chase Elliott. Brad Keselowski, after stage 1, he really turned it on. Him and his team really turned it on. There wasn't much to complain about there. Austin Dillon, same, once again, just running crazy good. Where did this come from? I don't know. Martin Truex Jr. finished in 3rd. They finally figured out their stuff. Joey Logano 4th. He fell back a position from last stage, but still ran pretty good. Chase Elliott 5th. He bumped up about 4 positions from last stage, I'm pretty sure. 6th, Kyle Busch. He came from the back, like, quick, because I think we were just at the competition caution in the first stage, and he had already moved up to, I think, like 21st or 25th or something like that. He had moved up 20 positions from the beginning of the race to 30 laps in. Kevin Harvick finishing 10th. I think he finished 10th because he missed the pit entry in this stage. That might have been the 3rd stage. One of the two, something like that. And now moving on to the final stage and the official race results. Brad Keselowski winning the race. As I said, they had figured it out. After the first 2 stages, they finally figured it out. He won the last stage, so They figured their stuff out, and they got on top of that quick. Martin Truex Jr. finishing second. They, as I said, after their last stage, they figured it out too, and they ended up finishing really good. He was my prediction to win the race, but yeah, Martin Truex Jr. ended up finishing really good compared to what happened on the start. So Joe Logano third. He went back up to third from the beginning of the race. He ran pretty much around there the whole race. So him and Keselowski went at it for a while. They even made it looked like they made contact in the first stage, but they didn't. So Austin Dillon finishing fourth. Like, where's this coming from? Where did this is a big surge for him. Like, this is crazy. I don't know. I'm not used to this. I'm sorry. I'm just not used to this. This is crazy. But yeah, Austin Dillon finishing fourth in the entire race after finishing second in the first stage and second in the second stage. Fell back, but I think they made a few adjustments that didn't go their way and that cost them a couple positions, but they still finished all right, and they ran a pretty good race. So Chase Elliott finishing in fifth, and that's basically where he ran around all night. They never really got on top of their stuff, but he's probably the best Chevy other than Austin Dillon that ran all night. And Kyle Busch finishing sixth after starting dead last. He was one of my other picks to win this race, honestly, because, I mean, the last time he started last at Richmond, he won the race. So, and now Clint Bowyer finishing in 10th place. He finished 10th in the first stage. I don't remember exactly where he finished in the second stage. I mean, picked up like 2 playoff points tonight. Not the best night for him. He's got to turn around at Bristol, though. And now to talk about the actual playoffs. Still Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin on top. Joe Logano, Brad Keselowski falling behind. Alex Bowman, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Austin Dillon, William Byron, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Eric Almirola. The only person that I did not see being outside the top 12 and being knocked out was Ryan Blaney. Everyone outside of that, other than maybe Kyle Busch, because just based on his luck this season, I just didn't see that coming. Ryan Blaney, he ran really good. Like, he never ran bad. He picked up 1 win in the regular season. But I never expected him to run out like he is right now. But it's really surprising to me. The other 3 drivers outside of the top 12 kind of don't surprise me, such as Clint Bowyer, Cole Custer, Matt DiBenedetto. As I said, Cole Custer, don't have him moving on because he's a rookie experience, you know. Clint Bowyer, just because, you know, Clint Bowyer just this whole season they've been very inconsistent. Same with Matt DiBenedetto. And not saying they're bad, not at all. Just saying, in general, they haven't ran the best this season. They ran good here and there, but they ran pretty bad, or not necessarily bad, but not as good as they should be everywhere. So, and then Ryan Blaney to be outside the top 12 really surprised me. So he's got to have a great run at Bristol to even think about being able to make it to the playoffs. So he's only 17 points behind Clint Bowyer and Eric Almirola to making it. But he's got to do some major work this next weekend at Bristol to make up those 17 points. And pray some things go his way. So, yeah, we're going to have to see what's going to happen next weekend for Ryan Blaney. Basically, everybody else, other than Austin Dillon, like, Austin Dillon has shocked me. Finishing second at Darlington and then running how he did tonight in this race really surprised me. So, yeah. He's the only other driver inside the top 12 that surprised me. So he might move on. It just depends on how Ryan Blaney runs, and he runs this next weekend. But right now he's sitting pretty to make it. Talking about my playoff predictions, I was actually going to talk about them in last week's NASCAR Weekly Updates video, but I didn't get to do it because I got that news, and yeah, I swear to you, I had this bracket made before any of the playoff races started. And I mean, like, it's still early to see who's all going to make it, but Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski, Logano, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Byron, Eric Almirola, Kyle Busch, and Kurt Busch all making it to the round of 12. And I already talked about who I had getting knocked out and how Austin Dillon is surprising me and Ryan Blaney is letting me down. But then, moving on to the round of 8, I have Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski, Logano, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, and Ryan Blaney. Kurt Busch, Eric Almirola, William Byron, and Alex Bowman all getting knocked out just because out of all these drivers that I have moving on, they're not necessarily the most consistent drivers. And looking at the past few races, I do get to see a little bit of future telling on what is gonna happen, but Ryan Blaney is letting me down really big time, and I just hope he has a good race at Bristol and he can make up for it, but we're going to have to find out. Yeah, those are my round of 8. Now moving on to my round of 4, I have Harvick, Hamlin, Chase Elliott, and Martin Truex Jr. So we're going to see all 3 manufacturers in the final race at Phoenix. And looking at the stats, I don't think Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr. necessarily even, according to my playoff standings, Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. are even going to be kind of a factor. It's basically in between Harvick and Hamlin. I know Hamlin runs very well at Phoenix, and he's proved that plenty of times. But Harvick's stats are a little bit better at Phoenix than Denny Hamlin's are. But I have a feeling, and this might be a little bit the bias, my fan coming out of me, it's Hamlin's year this year, and I feel like since the championship races at Phoenix, one of his better tracks, it's going to really help him. And so, yeah, I think he's gonna get it this year. I know Harvick's stats are better, but it's just, I don't know. It's just something inside me is telling me, I think Denny Hamlin's gonna get it, And as I said, it could be the fan coming out of me, but I think Denny Hamlin's gonna get it this year. So, yeah, that's my playoff predictions. I'm going to go ahead, get ready to close this one off here because it's kind of late and it's right after the Richmond race. So, yeah. But as I said earlier, make sure you're using my Instagram. Ask me DMs. Use the YouTube comments also. Leave me suggestions for a series name for this series. I'd love to hear your feedback on that. And, yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and we're going to go ahead and end this one here.